Hello, everybody. This week's review will be Kill Bill, both one and two. Yeah, talk about a talking about an epic masterpiece about a great Tarantino, and of course with excellent cast stuff. David Carradine as Bill, Michael Madsen as Bud, who happens to be Bill's brother, Daryl Hannah as L. Driver, Vivica A. Fox as Vernita Green, Lucy Liu as Oren Ishii, and of course Uma Thurman as the bride, aka Beatrix Kiddo. Man, this is when it comes to revenge tales. This one takes the cake. I mean, of epic badassery. I mean, come on, come on. With Tarantino, you know it's gonna be violence wise. You know it ain't gonna suck. And of course, with epic casting like, no one besides David Carradine could have been Bill, let alone with Tarantino and his people, of course, being, of course, Madsen and Furman, which, of course, Madsen was in Reservoir Dogs and Furman was in Pulp Fiction. And, of course, Furman also co-created the character of the bride along with Tarantino. So, of course, her casting was a shoe-in. Although, gotta give it to the excellent stunt work of Zoe Bell. I mean, and of course, a lot of epic fights. And what I gotta say, some of the best work that Vivica A. Fox and Lucy Liu have done. I mean, they played some bad asses. I mean, come on. Actually, begin the movie when the bride gets her showdown with uh, with Vernita, who at her house, and then how about how they have like an epic fight and all, and they stop just because when the little girl walks in, and then she leaves the room, then they go back to fighting, almost like those Ralph World Sam Cheap Dog cartoons that are like, "Morning, Ralph," kind of like stop what they're doing when unwanted guests come in, and then they and then whoo, then they go back to fighting, and then Vernita tries to, in that scene where Vernita tries to pull a gun, you're like, highly trained assassin, you should be quicker on the draw. Even though Deadly Vipers were known for swords and martial arts and all, not guns. Although Volume Two, they should have been good with the guns in the first one if they wanted to take on her. I mean, kind of like the scene where Bud tries to bury her in the coffin, and I was like, yeah, you shouldn't have used rock sauce, dummy. Which, of course, that scene was talking about some epic determination of badassery on that one. Just sort of get Bill down and all, and then she just shows up when Bud and L Driver try to make a deal, and then in that scene when they both get their comeuppance, and then right before L loses her other eye, which to the bride, and then after she takes down Pai Mei, who trained them all, along with Hattori Hanzo, played by the great Sonny Chiba. Talking about that sword in the first movie, and how the bride always talked him into going back in the sword making business after he swore not to do that no more. And where was our case on taking on Orin Ishii, and talking about an epic badass character on that one. I mean, especially that whole anime origin scene makes you think. When it comes to anime and Tarantino films, this being the only one, no. Like Tarantino, the next movie should have been like directed whole on anime. Whole, you know, yeah, be a perfect excuse to finally get Vega Brothers off the ground, since they're both too, since both Madsen and Travolta are too old for live action. But talk about one of the greatest swords fights in history, which is back to the Ultimate Tea House scene. I mean, in the where in the Crazy 88s when they're Kato cosplay and the Charlie Brown waiter, while the 5, 6, 7, 8 playing that band and playing their songs, and oof, I mean, between how it goes from color to black and white and then back to color, you know how Tarantino did to trick the censors, and about, I mean, how epic that sword fight was. I mean, how one woman in that in that Bruce Lee outfit. I mean, I mean I mean, if there was like an alternate scene where she charged in the motorcycle on a helmet, I mean, yeah, you could almost call her a Yellow Ranger. You know that because you know when it comes to those bikes, the motorcycles and them tight jackets and all, and matching ones, because those are Power Rangers. Because those ain't bikers, they're Power Rangers. And although talk about epic, and especially when they take down, especially after you characters like the Crazy 88, Oren Ishii's, I've already mentioned, and Sophie, who was Oren Ishii's friend, and oof, Lucy Liu played that role to a T. I mean, especially when she got on that table and yanked cut the dude's head off for questioning her ethnicity and her in as some sort of disqualification to be the head of the yakuza. And whew, I say over an issue was the one not to be messed with. And and oof. And like with Bernita Green, they both get their comeuppance. Sorry for spoilers, but hey, that's the hard part about being a reviewer. And of course, with that takes part one, and which is of course 5 out of 5. Now on to the second one. I mean, where you got some epic cameos in that one with Samuel Jackson, which of course with Tarantino is always usually a given in some form. Bo Swenson as the preacher, and of course Sid Haig as the bartender at the strip club Bud works at. And I always had to think that was a dumb scene in that one when his boss is telling him not to wear that cowboy hat, and I'm just like, yeah, you're the bouncer. He's supposed to look like a shit kicker. And whew, man, Michael Madsen played a damn good role in that film. And I thought could have been supposed to have been this time focused on guns and all. Like the first one was swords. They could have used some gunplay in this one. And of course, it goes down to when she's get the final showdown with Bill, and they have that. And they mentioned the Pomade exploding heart thing, and I'm just like, yeah, it might look cool and all, but that was too good. That was a too good. My opinion, that was for a takedown of Bill. That was too good. I mean, in that final showdown and all. I mean, for a POS like piece of shit that Bill was, at least he had the common courtesy to look after his daughter until look after their daughter. And she always goes to that scene where she realizes she's pregnant, and that woman's trying, and the other assassin's trying to get her, and she's whipping out the positive test like that, like a magical bullet shield, and I'm just like, only movie logic. I mean, I'm like, yeah, Brian, you could have just you could have just whipped the pistol out and shot that, like, and killed that bitch. I mean, when her guard was down, and woof, and back to the showdown on the bill, and I'm just like, yeah, when it comes to that fight, it would have been like a showdown, or like in movie logic with Randall Lee Pierre and Double Barrel, and you like, she could have should have because Bill, like Bill deserved both barrels, and or at least they, or at least took took the Hanzo sword and split him in half, and all. But yeah, man, yeah. But either way, hey, at least Bill got what they got coming to him on that one. Which, let's say, Volume 2 is a 4 out of 5, but hey, those Kill Bill movies are epic badasseries. And and that definitely, I gotta say, when it comes to empowering female characters in films, The Bride should be in the top 5 among action heroines anyway. And that's powered and non-super powered ones too. Yeah, among live action characters. But overall, Volume 1 gets 5 out of 5, and Part 2 gets a 4 out of 5. But overall, excellent films. Much I can say about that. Other than I hope y'all liked and enjoyed it. Enjoy, people.